Let me see. Hi, George. Hi, guys. Sometimes there's a lag. Let me let me pull up the link for everybody. Hello, hello, guys. Hi, everyone. I'm multitasking, guys. Sorry. Hello, hello, guys. What's up, Emil? Hi, Debbie. Hey, Brooke. Hi, Sueli. Hi, Bianca. Just give me a second, guys, while I post it everywhere, okay? Sorry, I was running a little bit late, but I was trying to get everything situated, and then I don't know how to say their name, but whoever was in the chat and asking me all those questions, I was trying to answer those as well. So happy Sunday, guys. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Hi, Mina. All right, just give me a sec. I'm gonna start in like a few minutes to give everybody some time to hop on. Thank you, Brooke. Yeah, I'm gonna just do a little boomerang to post. Hi, Diana. It's February, guys. So crazy. Already a month into 2026. How does everyone so far feel with trading? Have you guys taken any trades? Do you guys feel like this was a good month? Are you still kind of confused? I mean, you're not going to learn overnight, but I'd like to know what everybody's kind of feeling. Hi, Stephanie. Paper up, Frank. Um, on AMD. Were you trading stocks or options? I'm sorry. Pretty sure that's stocks, right? Okay, hold on. I started paper trading 2 weeks ago and was risk managed well and was in profit until Friday. What happened Friday? I'm taking my time, read widely, and learned the concepts. I am okay. No need to be anxious. No need to be anxious, George. Hi. Oh, hi, Milo. Yes, I remember. I remember you. You hopped in the chat. Yeah, you got greedy. Okay, yes, that's what I thought. Bunch of styles. Is Muj Taba in here? I'm gonna ask them if they're in the live. Okay. All right. Finally. Oh my gosh! Congrats, Diana, for passing. I want to get into futures. Yeah, stocks and options, they're just too much. I don't get why people really focus on that. I really like the idea of diversifying. Yeah. A lot of people got cooked on gold and silver, but this is why it's really important. That's why I kept emphasizing news is important and not to stay married to a bias because, um, you know, when everybody's buying, that's where you kind of want to be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't keep buying, because at some point, you know, you're gonna get caught in that. Oh, okay, so Haley, yeah, I noticed that you weren't in the chat as active. Hey, Obi. All right, guys, I'm gonna start. So I'm gonna start with, I hope I'm saying your name right, Mujtaba's question, um, because I could feel that you were really worried about what was happening. So let's go over it. So I'm not gonna be looking at the chat for a while. Just know that I'm gonna be just looking at the chart. So okay. I said for Friday to take the sells at 753. No drawdown, little to any drawdown. This here is the start of the sell. Okay? When price comes into the level and it retests, because you have to remember, I'm entering on the 1 minute. I don't know what you are entering on. I have no idea if you're following everything to a T how I do it, but in the strategy course that I have, I tell you the time frames that I mark everything on and what time frame I'm entering on. So when price came here into 753, this is basically no drawdown. Like, this is only a couple points, 8 points. And if you know how to read market structure, when you zoom out, you can see that this level here, this blue level, this blue zone, I call it a temporary zone, it's a support area. We came here, it wicked, we came back up. Okay, then we came back down. We barely tapped it, but that doesn't mean you're gonna enter just like that without actually understanding what's going on. Because technically this candle is, some people would consider a break of structure, but we started trading below this area, we were going to continue selling. So there was, you wouldn't have hit stop loss. You wouldn't have hit stop loss here. And it went 60 points, 67. It did 67 points. So automatically right there, you would have hit TP. I enter right away when I see that price has broken and retested a level. I'm so like, I really focus on the candlesticks because that's what you have to do. You have to be able to read the candlesticks. They are an important factor in your trading. And this did 67 points. Now, I'm realistic. I know sometimes you guys aren't entering right away because sometimes you're a little scared. But I have experience and I've done this many times, so that's why sometimes I just blindly enter. I'm okay accepting a loss and I'm okay re-entering if the trade plays out. So in this case, maybe you didn't enter right away. But once you see this candle here, that's where it's like, okay, we're going to keep selling. Now, in this case, if you entered late, you wouldn't have caught a full 60, but you're also not going into drawdown. So that's where you just have to accept how much profit you're going to take. Not every trade is going to be over 100 points. And when price has been ranging, you're not going to get a full 100 points right away. So Mujtaba, if you can just comment like a 1 or I understand to answer your question, but that immediately hit TP, 60 points. Now, when you see this kind of price action, because you guys have to remember, you have to read when market structure is shifting, okay? So if I'm zooming out on the 1 minute, I can clearly see we were ranging, and I know we don't always know when we're in a range. You realize that after we retested a couple times, so that's why you want to wait. So came here, we pulled back, and we continue selling. That means that we're not going to be buying, because you always have to think, where are we going to next? We came into this level, we finally broke below, but then you see here, this kind of structure, it looks like price is going to reverse. Why? Because this is a bullish candle right here. We pulled back. We didn't make equal lows. We actually made a higher low. Okay? We actually made a higher low. And at this point, why are you going to hold a trade if you see that it starts reversing? So I'm the type of trader where if I see something starts pulling back, I'm just going to close, or I'm just going to take profit. And sometimes you guys, like, I'm going to be showing you guys my trades throughout the week. Sometimes you're going to see that there's like a day where I probably took 40 trades, but really it's because I'm entering with less contracts, and sometimes I'm entering multiple times because I'm scaling in and scaling out. So sometimes you're going to see somebody takes multiple trades a day. It's not always bad, but that's how I trade, because I'm managing money. I have to manage the trade. I'm not going to just enter and then just, like, not acknowledge what's happening. And I'm always going to try and maximize as much profit as I can make. So in this case, this is a market structure shift. You're going to see this pattern a lot. Even here, it's a similar pattern, just upside down compared to here. So we pushed up, but that's why I also say doji candlesticks are important, because these dojis started forming. You see an engulfing candle. Selling pressure is still active. The only thing is that Friday price action was ugly. It was not clean. So regardless, it just wasn't a day that you would have wanted to be taking trades. But did the trade play out? Yeah, it played out, because again, I'm aiming for 60 points. So that's what I recommend. That's what I do. But I'm also realistic that NASDAQ is very volatile. It can move fast, and it can move a lot of points. So that's why I always tell my students to manage your trades and to not stay married to a bias, because in this case, yeah, price just kept pulling back. This is not a reversal. A reversal would mean that we are breaking above this high and then we're completely bullish. But this is a pullback. So I have a video, Mujtaba. You have to understand pullbacks and reversals. And in this case, yeah, you would want to close your trade, because when I'm in a trade, I'm constantly managing it. So price came back below, we retested, we're still holding below this level. When I say we're still holding, I mean we have bigger candles below. We don't have big candles above. Even these little candles, they don't count. They don't count as like an indication that we are going to be bullish. Okay? Yeah, after 8:30 it was a rug pull. Yeah. So in this case, yeah, the sells, they did hit. But at this point, yeah, if you held your trade, yeah, you would have hit stop loss because you're holding. Or you could have just had a bigger stop loss and just tried to swing the trade. And overall, it did over 100 points. So you have to think a 30-point stop loss, but what's it called? Sorry, sometimes I blank out because I think of things in Spanish, but you're getting 178 points. That's a really good risk to reward. So, hi Cal. So, if you're getting more than 30 points, it's okay to have a stop loss bigger than 30 points, but I'm not aiming for 100 points every day because I know that's not realistic. I know that not every single day is going to be clean, and not every day I want to be holding a trade for that long. Like, I do not have the patience. I don't have the patience, and I know that makes me more greedy. So the faster I can be out of a trade, the better. And that's why I always just trade from 9:30 to 10:30. I usually stop after 10:40 because it's not worth it for me, in my opinion, because I just don't want to be trading afterwards unless I've already planned that and that works around my schedule. But But yeah, and for days like this when price has been so choppy and unclear, you have to expect that the trade is not going to play out immediately. you're you're gonna experience bigger pullbacks because people, they want to take out people's orders. And and just in general, when we've been ranging for so long, it's kind of something that you just have to be aware of. So I hope that helps, Mujtaba. But just know, when I'm entering the trades, I'm in this case, it's okay to enter immediately because we have been creating lower highs. We're clearly downtrending, and it's clear that we're gonna break below. I've practiced this many times. This happens a lot, and this is why I really just like support and resistance. Sometimes people, they really focus on entering just based off supply and demand, but you have to also understand that when the market is shifting a certain way, you got to just follow the trend. The trend was actually sells. There was no clear trend in the beginning, but overall it sells because we had a 600-point dump the day before. So I'm on the 1 minute. I'm entering on the 1 minute. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm entering on the 1 minute, and yeah, and then we broke below. Same thing here, 663, no drawdown. This is what I mean, no drawdown. Like, when you see that price is breaking the level, you enter, especially when, again, you see that we're trending bearish. This is a bearish trend. When you look left, this is the most recent low. Like, part of it is just, you got to take the trade. You cannot be scared or worried to take the trade, because going into trading, you're going to lose money at some point. Like, you're not going to have, yes, you can have a good win streak, but that's if you're following the trend and you have a good understanding. And a lot of it is if you already have confidence in taking your trades and managing your trades. But you're not guaranteed you're going to profit. You're actually guaranteed you're going to lose something. So as long as you can make your losses small, that's what counts. Do you wait until a candlestick that's breaking? Oh, I'm sorry, Sandy. Do you wait until the candlestick? Yeah, so sometimes, because I also enter on the 15-second, but like in this case, once I see that price is trending bearish, I'm just gonna enter sells. For some reason, I always catch sells way easier than buys. I'm always more hesitant on buys, so I would enter either as it's closing below the level, or if it's staying below the level, or once the candle closure happens. Like in this case, this candle closed below, and you would have wanted to enter on the next candle, and you would have still had no drawdown. The best option is the candle closure. That's going to be the safest option. You're not losing out on a lot of money just by doing the candle closure. You just, in some cases, sometimes price wants to pull back a bit more, and that's why you just wait for the retest. Do you do market orders? No, I don't do. I guess it would be a market order. I just manually enter. Sorry, sometimes I don't know like the proper terms, but I don't do any limits. I just manually enter. Yep, Ashley, yep. If price is trending down, you definitely don't want to be buying if price is going down. That's for sure. So yeah, you would enter sell. If price is going up, you would want to wait for a pullback and enter on the buys, but you want to go with the trend. You don't want to go against with the trend. The only thing is, there's some days where people are like, oh, I'm longing NQ. I'm set on buys. But then the market ends up dumping. That's the only thing where I like advise you to not do, is don't go into a trading day expecting something to happen, because you just never know. Nobody knows unless they're insider trading. But yeah, I hope that helps. Mujtaba. But yeah, the best option is always waiting for the candle closure. But sometimes, like at 9:30, you sometimes have to enter right away. But this week, and I went over it in the video that I just posted this week, New York Open manipulation. Every single New York Open 9:30 candle was manipulation. So there's some weeks that you don't want to be entering right at 9:30. Some weeks you're better off entering at 10 a.m. There's certain cycles in the market, and you just got to flow with them. So um, market conditions change. We're not always going to be bullish on the higher time frame. Sometimes we're going to be ranging, and you're going to feel like market conditions suck. So just like I had said earlier, everybody was buying gold and silver. That's great. That's amazing that you take advantage of the market condition. But now everything that's happening with news, the potential war, the pause on interest rates, the what else? I'm like blanking. But everything else that's happening is just signaling, market crash, fear in the market. People are pulling their assets out from crypto, from stocks, and just so many things happening. So yeah, it makes sense why price dump. Yeah, like Emil said, got to be able to adjust quickly. So for whoever was taking buys, like that's great, but then also just keep in mind that you could potentially be liquidity, and you just got to always be careful regardless with whatever trade you're taking. Just accept that you could take a loss. So yep, that was pretty much it for that. For those sells on Friday, like I said, I went over it for the YouTube video, but we don't know when we're in a range until it starts happening, like I said. So the buy, like even the buy, I didn't take, like I'm not taking this buy, because this candle, technically you want to see the start of the candle. Like you see how the start of the candle is literally on top of the level, like it's sitting on the level, this candle here. That's how you want to be entering. But when you see that price pulls back and wicks out like this, and then you see that it immediately reverses, this is just like manipulation of liquidity sweep. These candles aren't strong. This candle's not strong. This candle's not strong. And you also know that we've been ranging if you look left. Also, you got to think about PPI news didn't come out that great. I think it was a positive result. I'm pretty sure it was a positive result. And then we slowly, when we slowly move like this, it's not clean price action. And then we dumped 600 points the day before. So always the morning after, price is never going to be clean. And I actually was hesitant about sending an analysis because I didn't want anyone to be hopeful. But yeah, so in this case, like you could just be scalping, whether it's the buys here, and that's why once we're ranging, you actually want to be entering lower, like at a level like this, 842. But when I'm sending out the analysis, I'm only working with a certain window of what the candlesticks are showing me. But even the sells here, like see here, doji candlestick, this market structure shift, just gotta know this market structure shift. We're not forming any more higher highs. Retest down. We're actually forming lower highs. Same thing here. This one happens all the time. This is a common reversal pattern. It's like this every single time. If you study that, you'll be able to take so many great trades. That's all you would really need to know. But yeah, the sells were the best move. And even then, when we're down here, you already see, okay, sells were the best trade overall. So I want to take that trade. That's how you would go on about your day and afternoon. Just to clarify, you share on the chat the time to go in along with. I don't share the TP and stop loss. I just give entry ideas. Like I just give you where I would enter for buys or sells. And then your stop loss and TP is up to you. Because I told somebody earlier 30 points, and for them that's too small. So I use 25 points, actually 25 to 30 points. So do what's best for you. I'm always aiming for 60 points because I continuously see with NASDAQ and with US 30 as well that 60 points is what you're going to be catching at least every single day. Anything more, it's like you're pushing it. So 60 points is a good sweet spot. 30 points stop loss is fine because that makes sense for the risk to reward. But yeah, you're not greedy. Exactly. Just aim for even 50 points. 50 points is great for NASDAQ. You for sure can catch 50 points every single day. But yeah, I'm going to start with the analysis. Mujtaba, just watch the YouTube video because I go over that there. But basically, as far as the levels, hold on. I got to put my laptop is like on low battery, so I have to get the charger. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back, guys. Sorry. I realized I had like 10%. George, read my strategy course because that's where I give all the time frame entries. But I mean the time frames that I use. But I enter on the 1 minute. The 3 minute is good too. I'll enter on the 3 minute. I use both at the same time. I'm looking at 2 screens at the same time. That's why sometimes I don't tell you guys. Like I cannot text in the chat right away. I know I gotta get a whole like setup and everything. But yeah, I use multiple time frames. So I'm just gonna delete everything. And we're also gonna look at news. I know somebody just said that there's a lot of red folder news, and to be honest, with everything with the whole market basically dumping, it's just gonna be a volatile week in general. But just off the bat, I can already tell that I'm going to be having to mark this zone here. I'm marking this on the 1 hour, by the way, guys. Yeah, I'm just marking areas that I've seen are support and resistance. So I can see here this level 2 is going to be important. Sometimes it takes me a bit. Okay. Then I'm going to go on the 5 minute and let's see. I used to chart ES. I actually love trading ES, but I haven't traded it in a while. But I always recommend that to beginners. I recommend it to beginners because it's a lot more clean. The only thing is that the stop loss TP is going to be different. So yeah, I can see here on the 5 minute, price is just ugly. Ugly. Sometimes I move it, once I'm on the 5 minute, that's where I get more precise with it. That is 39 points. I can't find where I can adjust it, so I'm just gonna have to redo it. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. I always keep it 30 points. I am on the 5-minute right now. I'm on the 5-minute adjusting the zones. I just want to have it clean for the new week. Let's see. We can do a 25. This one. See, you always want to look left when marking these zones. And you always want to just sit them directly where price has ever been resistance or support. In this case, we're right here right now, so I just want to have these three because we're likely going to open up bearish, and I'm expecting that price is at least going to reach this area. I keep the zones at 30 points because my stop loss is 30 points. So I don't want them bigger. There's a lot of creators that have their, sorry, I keep accidentally opening. There's a lot of creators that mark their zones extreme. Get wicked out. And you're not really going to understand the overall direction. Like there's people that will cover this whole move. Like there's people that mark their zones this big, but you would miss all of this. You'd be missing 100 points in a trade. You see why you don't want them that big? You want them small because all you're really looking for is the most precise area where you want to be entering. You want to be as accurate as possible where price is truly breaking structure, and also lets you know where price is faking you out, because same thing here. Same thing with the zone. If I had this zone this big, it would be faking me out a lot more. But I have it smaller, that way I know, okay, we're truly not going to continue bearish. In this case, we broke above and we didn't even retest. We just kept pushing up. Same thing here. I think this one might be a little bit too small though. Oh no, it's 30 points. But yeah, 30 points is how I like to keep it. And I always like to keep it below the body of the wick. But yeah, I do think that for market open, we are going to open up bearish. Let's see how we close on the daily. Yeah. See, this is on the NQH chart. So I'm going to go on the NQ1 chart. And if you guys see here on the daily, even on the daily, we're ranging. Okay. This is technically, I should have done my zones on here, but we're technically ranging now. And if we start trading below 539, that's where we're likely going to continue bearish. You always want to look at where the most recent and major low is. This low, 25,103. That would be major if we broke below here, because that means that we're going to reach this low, and then we're going to continue bearish. Could that happen? Maybe. I mean, in November we were dropping like crazy. So we haven't even dropped as much as we did in November. So this is for NASDAQ. 2,000 point drop in November. So going into the week, if we start trading below 539, that's a major indicator that we could potentially keep dropping to till 25,152. Let me see here. Yeah. And let me go back to the other chart. Yeah, so I don't want to mark anything more because I just want to see that price comes into this area. But even then, the only other zone that I would mark is this one right here. 113. Same thing. If price were to continue dropping, I just don't like to have too much on there, but we can at least, if you see that price starts holding below, doesn't mean we tap it. When we hold below 537, we're going to go at least to this zone. That's all you have to just ask yourself. Where are we going to next? I definitely have a good feeling that we could potentially open up bearish and at least come here. Now, if we get a bounce, even then, you want to see how we hold above. And if we start breaking below, then that's just your indicator that sells are going to continue. If not, then price could, I still think that price regardless will be bearish, but for us to be bullish again, we would need to be trading above 25,900. We would need to be above there to really continue buys. But even zooming out on this 1 hour, you can clearly see that this area 25,900 and 600, we've been ranging so often, and even when we do break out, we've gone both directions, but we've been ending up here throughout December. So hey Joe, on Tradevate, yeah, it should be NQH26. Do you watch your trade with zones marked and trade with Top Step? Or yeah, so I always have TradingView marked. It's what you're gonna use to chart. On Top Step or Tradevate, I just mark the levels. I don't take the time to mark the zones. But you can if you want. Whatever is gonna make it easier for you. But yeah, I definitely have a feeling that we are going to be bearish. And let's see for Forex Factory what the news is. My gosh, we have news every single day. We got PMI. So Tuesday job openings, that is typically volatile. Anything regarding unemployment claims, job openings, that is always going to be pretty important. And I'll just give you guys, I'll explain how you can analyze news. But basically, when you click on this yellow folder, you can see previous days. So you can, it says here, January 5th was the last PMI event. So what I would do is I would back test what happened on January 5th. So let's see. January 5th, what happened? Let's see. You want to see what happened and what the result was. So the forecast was 48. The actual result was less. It was negative. It was bad in their case. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at, okay, what time does it usually come out? It usually comes out at 10 a.m. And let's see what happened when it came out. It just whipped and it ended up pushing bullish. So nothing too crazy. But this is why it's important to look back on it, because it gives you an idea of what you can expect for that day. Thanks, Cal. I appreciate it. But this was on a Monday in January, so tomorrow you can kind of expect that price action isn't going to be crazy. I don't expect tomorrow to be a very volatile or big day. I don't expect to catch anything more than 60, 80 points. But you can even just see how price moved during PMI day. You can see here. Actually, I remember taking this buy. This buy move happened, and then we immediately reversed. So tomorrow, expect manipulation. Expect for price to go in one direction and then immediately, go in the opposite. It's just because it's Monday and because of that crazy week that we had, and the fact that we have a lot of news coming up. But that's how you can backtest news. You can even see for December 1st. Let's see. Let me go on the 4 hour. I have it really slow. Oh. Okay. Oh wait, I skipped it. Sorry guys. December 1st. Same type of thing. Actually, December 1st was more volatile because we moved way more. It did 90 points bearish, then over 100 points. But it gives you a good idea of what could potentially happen. December 1st came out negative as well. It's been coming out bad. So what do? You look at the 10 a.m. candle. What happened right at news? Nothing crazy. 10 a.m. candle did this doji. So that's how you know that some news events aren't really worth trading. PMI is one of those news events that you don't really need to full port. It's like you kind of just can either trade before it or after. But job openings should be pretty eventful. And Wednesday, we've got PMI at 10. Whenever the event is at 10 a.m., it's up to you if you want to take a trade before or after. I usually will still take a trade before, but I don't hold my trades during the news events. And let's see here. And then Friday is going to be another big day as well. Every single day is going to be a big day this week, basically, after seeing all this. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the analysis. I mean, I still think, like I said, I think we're going to open up bearish for the week. And then as far as what could potentially happen, I wouldn't be surprised if we at least reach this 25,100 level, just because of everything that's been happening. And when we compare what happened back in November, I mean, this drop wasn't even as significant as that drop in November, that major sell-off all month. So February could be that kind of month. There's just a lot of fear in the market. So regardless, it's nothing to be scared of. It's still great to take trades during these market conditions because it's volatile. You just have to be able to manage the trade. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Do any of you guys have any questions? I know we covered a lot, but I'm still going to send out the analysis. I'm just expecting that tomorrow I'll just have to be a little bit more cautious because of the kind of week that we had. But if you took a loss on Friday, just take tomorrow easy. There's going to be a lot of opportunity throughout this week. But yeah, that's basically it. If you guys don't have any questions, I'm just gonna end it here. Um, thanks, George. Yeah, uh, the video that I just posted should help you understand like how I would enter. Thank you, Suheli. But yeah, just take it easy. These market conditions are crazy. Um, a lot of unexpected stuff happening. But if you took a loss, don't be scared. It's just a matter of, how can I learn from it? Why did you take the loss? Were you just a little too greedy? Um, Friday was a choppy day. You can be greedy on a trending day. That's the best time you can be greedy. But don't be greedy on a choppy day. Um, you're welcome, guys. You're welcome, Brooke. Thank you, Elitza. Thank you, Butch of Styles. Of course. I have patience, but sometimes I can feel, so I swear, I can feel some people's energy. I can feel when people are like really tense or frantic. And then that makes me frantic because I can only explain it so much, But it's not like you guys aren't going to understand it if you're completely new. You are. You just got to practice. You just got to back test. And if you haven't read the course or you haven't watched my videos on WAP and you don't understand the strategy, then yeah, it's going to be a little confusing. But overall, like everything does play out. Consistency. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I hope you guys have a good night. And yeah, I'm excited. It's February. We're going to have a great month. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. We just can't get too greedy. Thank you. Thank you, Safa. Thank you, Diana. Thanks, Joel. But yeah, guys, I'll see you guys. I mean, I'm not going to see you guys tomorrow, but you know